gentlemen, dignitaries of the dais and on the dais, session chairman CA Parikshit Agarwal ji, session judges CA Arvind Tulli ji and CA Rajat Bansal ji. I'm truly honored to be among all of you. Thankful for the opportunity I got. And let's commence the topic with some energy. अब तो वो भी मेरी तारीफ करने लगे हैं जो कभी मेरे हशरे खाक की दुआएं मांगा करते थे। अब तो वो भी मेरी तारीफ करने लगे हैं जो कभी मेरे हशरे खाक की दुआएं मांगा करते थे। लगता है इस बार सिक्का मेरे हक में गिरा है। So to try a luck, we still toss a coin. And cryptocurrency had a lot of glamorous prepositions. People understand, not understand it, think it to be a fraud. Ultimately, what we need to bring in is to create education on cryptocurrency. We need to understand legal aspect, genuinity, very importantly the taxation aspect, because taxation in relation to virtual digital assets are very different now. Change is before starting my presentation, here is my disclaimer that I am not an expert, I am just a learner. And now I am starting. Change is the law of world, and everything is replaceable, and technology is playing an important role in replacing all the components. Technology is also going to change all the ecosystem over the internet. Over last few years, digital currencies and assets like NFTs have gained attraction globally. With the launch of cryptocurrency exchanges, trading in these assets has increased broadly. Union Budget 2022 and 2023 by our Finance Minister, Srimati Nirmala Sitharaman, she introduced a new section 115 BBH to levy income tax on cryptocurrencies and other virtual assets. So first thing we need to understand what is cryptocurrency. So cryptocurrency is a digital currency that utilizes cryptography for security and can be sent from one person to another anywhere around the world. Cryptocurrency is typically decentralized digital asset designed to be used over the internet. The regular money we use, The regular money we use is referred to be centralized money, and it is managed by authorities such as Reserve Bank of India. But in case of cryptocurrencies, decentralization means that no similar authority can be held accountable for overseeing the growth and fall of the particular cryptocurrency. Because whosoever is dealing with cryptocurrency, you people must understand that these things are being handled by the crypto exchanges themselves. And many of us probably wondering how cryptocurrency is secure, because if no bank or governments are involved. It's safe because all the transactions are verified by the blockchain technology. The balance sheet or ledger of a cryptocurrency blockchain is comparable to that of a bank, and each currency has its own blockchain, which is an ongoing, constantly re-verified record to all the transactions conducted with the currency. And cryptocurrency is intangible in nature. If you own a cryptocurrency, you are actually owning an intangible asset into your portfolio. So until the introduction of crypto tax in India, which was announced in Union Budget 2022 and 23, the status of cryptocurrencies in India was essentially uncertain. So what I want to put a light on virtual digital assets and taxation system in India. So in last 2 years, we must have seen lots of people investing in crypto. Can be our nearby tea seller or any corporates. Everyone is there. Such kind of craze was not even seen in the stock markets. Even to reach a milestone of 2 to 3 crores of demat accounts, it has taken a journey of 40 to 45 years. But in less than 40 weeks, there were more than 10 crore Indians who were dealing in cryptocurrencies. And I'm sure whosoever was filing income tax returns this time would have come across many clients who had clients must have trades into the crypto, and CS must be advising on the taxation disclosures of their clients, how to cope up with the losses, how to record their losses, and dealing into the cryptocurrency in their income tax returns. And blockchain is actually changing the landscape, what we see today. If we take reports of any agency like Deloitte, EY, US government, World Economic Forum, everybody is saying that by 2025, the blockchain will be the most adopted technology in the companies across the world. And products being manufactured on blockchains, metaverse, Web3, decentralized finance, non-custodian borrowings, and lending will be adopted and will have a market of more than $800 billion. There is such a huge opportunity lies for the chartered accountants, for our fraternity here. Even today, total market cap of crypto is more than $1.5 trillion. Coming to India and the crypto, where we see crypto as a virtual digital asset, and let's take up with the taxation and opportunities for the professionals. In India, cryptocurrency avatar is a long affair. In 2018, RBI introduced a circular that they have banned the banking services to all the institutions and people whom are dealing with the cryptocurrencies. That circular was set aside by the Supreme Court in 2020, and banking services are now totally available to the people and institutions who are dealing with the crypto. Then a committee was formed to introduce a bill, that is a bill of banning crypto currencies and regulation of official digital currencies. Then bill was recommended and introduced by the government in the winter session of 2020, but never see the light of the day. In Finance Bill 2022, Honorable Finance Minister has introduced a term, virtual digital asset. So what is virtual digital asset? So basically, the definition of virtual digital asset proposed to be inserted by a new clause 47A to the section 2 of the Act. And where virtual digital assets are defined to cover assets, here are the features. I have copied the definition from the Act itself. So virtual digital assets include what? They include any information, code, number or token, not being the Indian currency or a foreign currency. So they are information, code, number or token, and now they are generated through cryptographic means or otherwise by whatever name called, provided a digital representation of value exchange with or without consideration, with the promise or representation of having inherent value or functions as store of value or a unit of account, including its use in any financial transaction or investment, but not limited to investment scheme. Please take it, not limited to investment scheme. And can be transferred, stored and traded electronically. Electronically, I want to put emphasis on the word. They can be transferred, stored and traded electronically. And the clause B is non-fungible tokens. NFTs and any other token of similar nature are included in the definition. And such digital assets are notified by the central government. In addition to the above, power has been given to the central government to notify any other virtual digital assets by way of the notification in the official gazettes. So let us come to the point, the main thing. Section 115 BBH, tax on cryptocurrency. See what section 115 BBH provides us. A new section 115 BBH has been introduced while Finance Act 2022 to provide specific taxation regime to the virtual digital assets. And the first thing, it provides us a flat tax rate of 30%. I think everybody is aware of this, whosoever listened to the budget. So it's known to everybody that there is a flat tax rate of 30%. Even a layman knows this. But now, let us come to the experts' points. Now, there are no benefits of standard tax slabs available. Okay? I'm taking an example to understand the second point. If an individual has an income of rupees 1 lakh from transfer of VGA in an entire year and there is no other income, then also Then also tax of 30%, that is 30% of 1 lakh, that is 30,000 rupees need to be paid. There will be no benefit available for the basic tax slab of 2,50,000 here. Okay? And the third point is no deduction allowed other than cost of purchase. For example, while dealing in shares, what happens? You deduct purchase cost, you also deduct brokerage, you also deduct any kind of expenses, exchange charges, interest expenses, office, business related expenses you deduct. But here you can only reduce your cost of purchase. So let you sold any virtual digital asset, let the cost can be, let it be a 1 lakh and purchase was 50,000. You may also have incurred certain other expenses like brokerage cost, any other kind of expenses, but you would not be allowed to deduct those expenses. So here you sold digital asset for 1 lakh rupees, you had purchased it for 50 lakh rupees, you had expended, let it be you expended 30,000 extra, but you would not be allowed to deduct those expenses. You are only allowed to deduct 50,000 of the purchase cost, and remaining 50,000 cost of purchase, remaining 50,000 you need to pay tax at the rate 30% you need to pay. I hope that you are getting me what I'm trying to explain. Now the next fourth point is no set-off of losses allowed. Set-off of losses are also not allowed. With other heads you cannot set off, and not even with the income of other virtual digital assets income. For example, you bought Bitcoin and you also bought Ethereum. You had a loss in Bitcoin and you had some profit in Ethereum. You are not allowed to set those losses with the profits of Bitcoin losses with the profits of Ethereum. No. Actually, I'm trying to explain it with an example. Now, let us say you have a loss from the transfer of VDA. You bought it for rupees 1 lakh, and now value has deteriorated. You sold it for 70,000. Now 30,000 is a loss. There are set of provisions available, but if you have a loss in one level of income, you can set off at the other level of income. But here you cannot set off. Section 11 PPH and clarification, there are certain clarifications also provided by the central government in the parliaments. Even the loss in any of the virtual digital assets will not be allowed to set off with any other profit transactions of the virtual digital assets. Okay. Now the fifth point is loss of any other income head. Now I'm not talking about the losses of virtual digital assets. I'm talking about the losses of the other heads of income. That is also not allowed to be set off here. Like you had a loss in house property, that cannot be set off against the gains of the transfer of the VDA. Example, you had loss of 1 lakh in business and profession, and having an income of 2 lakh in the transfer of virtual digital asset. 1 lakh business loss cannot be adjusted with 2 lakhs, but of course you can carry forward the business loss as per the other provisions of the Income Tax Act. Now the sixth point is losses from transfer of VDA cannot be carried forward to the succeeding assessment years. You cannot even carry forward the losses. For example, I'm taking Mr. Lal Singh. He has done certain transactions. He has purchased Bitcoin for rupees 1,50,000 and sold them for rupees 1 lakh. Sold them for rupees 1,50,000 and they had purchased it for rupees 1 lakh, and now they are having a 50,000 ka profit here. Another cryptocurrency, that can be Ethereum, they are having 60,000 loss. There is another loss 25,000. Now in aggregate what happens, there is a net loss of 35,000 in that particular year. But transaction of losses will be ignored, and the tax at the rate of 30% will be charged on the income transaction only. Like the 50,000 you earned on the Bitcoin partner, you need to pay tax on that. There is no adjustment of losses available for the other coins you currencies you purchased here. And now let us come to the next point. 115 BBH, I hope I have explained well. And now there is another thing, taxation on gifting of virtual digital assets. So at almost every occasion we send gifts and receive gifts. Like we can give cash, we gift bank transfers, give properties, shares. So crypto can also be gifted. And now what will happen in case when someone is gifting virtual digital assets to someone? There is no involvement of consideration. Sales value is nil. So here we try to understand how taxation will be implemented in case of gifting, because sales value is nil here. So taxation of gifting of virtual digital assets, we are having a section 56 to 10, and the first thing is explaining the section itself. The term property will include virtual digital assets for the purpose of section 56. Virtual digital asset has added to the definition of the property from Finance Bill 2022 itself. Virtual digital asset abhi add. Then gifting of virtual digital asset will be taxable in the hand of recipient, not in the hand of a person who is gifted. Because उसको तो उसने सेल नहीं करा ना, सेल्स कंसिडरेशन इज nil. तो whoever is the recipient, उसके हैंड में जाकर ये टैक्सेबल हो जाएगा. Value will be taken as fair market value at the time of gift. This point, this third point is the time I was doing research on the topic. This is quite difficult point because I was checking up with the websites. So वो जो websites है वो 24:7 काम करती है, तो आपको पता कैसे चलेगा कि fair market value आपको कौन से point पे लेनी है और किस दिन लेनी है? So this is actually a very technical point to check up. मैंने एंड में वो वेबसाइट्स के रेफरेंसेस दिए हैं अगर आपको और उस पर जाके रिसर्च करनी हो, बट दिस इज एक्चुअली अ पॉइंट मेरे को मतलब ये टफ पॉइंट है क्योंकि फेयर मार्केट वैल्यू किस तरीके से लेनी है कि अभी तक कोई सर्कुलर गवर्नमेंट ने नहीं नोटिफाई किया है कि कब लेनी है, कैसे लेनी है, किस टाइमिंग की लेनी है, बिकॉज इट्स इंटरनेशनली काम चल रहा है ना. नाउ इफ टोटल गिफ्ट्स आर वैल्यूड लेस देन 50,000 इट इज एग्जेम्प्ट. वैल्यू 1,50,000 से कम है तो एग्जेम्प्ट हो जाती है. मैंने इसको थोड़ा सा टेबल के थ्रू एक्सप्लेन करने की कोशिश की है कि VDA अगर मतलब विद अप टू 50,000 इट्स एग्जेम्प्ट फ्रॉम टैक्स. वैल्यू एक्सीडिंग 50,000 रिसीविंग फ्रॉम रिलेटिव वाला एग्जेम्प्ट है, एंड नॉन रिलेटिव है दैट इज टैक्सेबल इन द हैंड्स ऑफ रिसीवर. नाउ ऑन द ओकेजन ऑफ मैरिजेस, इनहेरिटेंस या विल में कुछ मिला दैट इज आल्सो एग्जेम्प्ट फ्रॉम टैक्स. Now 115 BBH only talks about consideration marriages, inheritance या will में कुछ मिला that is also exempt from tax. Now 115 BBH only talks about consideration received from the transfer of virtual digital assets and profits so made or is transferred to be the hands of at the rate of 30% only. Now coming to the next provision, that is about the TDS of transfer of virtual digital assets, section 194S. This is also very tough part while doing the compliance related to the TDS in crypto world or the virtual digital assets. TDS will be the largest chunk which may be coming to the professionals. So let us try to understand the TDS provision. New section 194S has been introduced by the Finance Act 2022 for providing the TDS reduction of the liability of TDS for the payers of the transfer of virtual digital assets. So TDS has been notified 1%. From July 2022, TDS at the rate 1% will be applicable on the consideration payable or paid for the transfer of virtual digital assets. So here we have the categories available for the consideration limits available, and further section 26Q has been updated to fill the details of TDS reductions in 194S. The category 2 and 3 I explained here in the table, and we are having this 26Q. Then 26QE has been introduced for the specified persons, that those were those individuals. Okay, I hope I'm explaining. Now, at the end, I want to share how this is knocking at the doors of the CS with lots of opportunities. I just want to introduce opportunities हमारे पास क्या available है. So these many were the opportunities जो मेरे को समझ में आई थी कि we have work in taxation, calculation of tax, fair market value in itself, gifting, TDS compliance of clients, all the advisory related to TDS, legal advisories, designs of tokenomics. This point, interplay with other laws like FEMA, PAMLA, GST, etc., other regulatory compliance, and head of these are the product owners, blockchain audits. ये सब हमारे पास इससे ज़्यादा भी हो सकता है जब आप रिसर्च करोगे. And then these are certain suggested websites. You can take a picture of it from where I did these researches. And with this, I'm ending up my presentation. Thank you very much. I wanted to add on some value to the people who are listening to the presentation. So please take a note down these websites. If you want to learn Bitcoin from the beginning, the first website is very helpful. Thank you very much.